Hello, friendly people of the internet. In this video, I want to show you a few examples of how to apply the growth mindset in real life. This is something I talk about a lot on this channel, and it's very easy to graze over how you actually use a growth mindset in your life. So let's get into it right now. Check it out. If this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe to this channel where we choose growth, gratitude, and joy for a carefree lifestyle. And a growth mindset is going to help you live a carefree lifestyle, but first you need to understand how to actually develop a growth mindset and use it in your life. It turns out examples of how to use a growth mindset are all around you. They're just not always that easy to see, especially if a fixed mindset trigger is staring right at you. You're gonna face obstacles pretty much every hour of your life. Something's gonna happen, whether it's big or small, and how you react to that is your opportunity to choose either a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. Remember that a growth mindset believes that obstacles and challenges are opportunities for you to grow and develop your skills, whereas a fixed mindset believes that challenges are really scary because they make us feel as though our natural talents are being questioned in some way. People with a fixed mindset don't like to take risks because they're worried that their credibility or their intelligence is going to be jeopardized in some way if they fail. Whereas a growth mindset would say, well, failure is a good thing because we can learn from our mistakes and get better for next time. So how do we use this growth mindset way of thinking in our lives? The best way to understand how to use a growth mindset is to look at some examples of situations or ways of thinking that might come into your head and contrast a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset perspective. I'll start by giving you a few examples involving effort, because that is a key differentiator between whether you're using a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. At some point in your life, you've likely said or heard somebody else say something like, I can't do it, it's just too hard. That is a very fixed mindset perspective. You're defining the obstacle as being too hard to even justify trying. A growth mindset perspective would say something like, even though it's hard, I can do anything I put my mind to because I know I'm going to come out stronger as a result. Growth mindset people can be a little bit annoying. Another example of a fixed mindset statement would be something like, I'm terrible at this. Just straight up declaring that you're no good at something and it's not really worth trying because you're just simply not good at it. By contrast, a growth mindset person would say something like, this is definitely difficult, but I know with practice I can get better. A fixed mindset person would say something like, I'm gonna fail at this, so why bother? The growth mindset perspective would be, I might fail at this, but think about how much I can learn so that I can get better for next time. People who use a fixed mindset when thinking about effort are really quick to give up when they're comparing themselves to the successes of other people. They say things like, I can't do that, there's already somebody else better than me. A growth mindset take on that would be, yeah, there are lots of people that are doing that really well. Think of all the practice they put in to get where they are. I know if I practice every day, I can get there too. These are just a few examples of how we can react to situations about effort by choosing a growth mindset and seeing the opportunities rather than just the obstacles. Next, I want to share some examples about learning, because you can't acquire new skills without learning. So naturally, it makes sense that a growth mindset would be very helpful when learning new things. At some point when you're learning something, you'll probably end up feeling discouraged and like you want to give up, which is directly connected to effort. My favorite quote of all time from Einstein is the one where he says, it's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stick with problems longer. I love this quote so much because it shows that it's not just about how smart you are, it's about whether or not you give up. If you can get really gritty and stick with the problem and not give up, you're gonna get better and you're gonna learn more stuff. So here's a few examples involving learning and how you can take a fixed mindset perspective and change it into a growth mindset perspective. When you're a teacher, it's common to hear commentary amongst your students declaring who the smarter kids are in the class. A fixed mindset perspective on being smart would just be something like, they're smarter than me. Whereas a growth mindset perspective would say something like, things might come easier to them than they do to me, but we all have our own strengths and I might just need to work a little harder at this. People who use a fixed mindset believe that they're either born with a skill or they're not, whereas somebody who's using a growth mindset perspective might say something like, I might not be very good at that, but I know if I keep practicing, I can improve. In a classroom, anytime a student fails an assessment, they might internalize that and say, I'm a failure, I'm horrible at math. Whereas a student using a growth mindset might look at that failure and say, wow, look at all this feedback. I can't wait to use this to improve for next time. These types of students tend to be few and far between, but when you are a teacher, you want to teach your students the value of feedback and the value of failure and the way that these things can be used to help them improve. The last set of examples involve some sort of criticism of some sort. So these scenarios are really applicable to the workplace where criticism happens quite often. We get a boss or a colleague or somebody who's criticizing the way we do things. And the way that we react to that criticism is an opportunity to choose either a fixed mindset or a growth mindset reaction. I can't believe my boss is criticizing my performance. Who do they think they are? Could be replaced with something like, well, it was hard to hear that criticism. I'm going to spend some time reflecting to see if there's any valuable insight I can gain to improve my skill set. That's a really hard one for me. I don't like to be criticized. That's a fixed mindset trigger for me. Something like, I can't believe they gave them the raise. I work so much harder than they do. A comment like that makes it seem as though you believe that you are just naturally better at your job than somebody else, which tends to be affiliated with a fixed mindset. The way that comment comes off, it's almost as though you don't think you have room for any growth and that you're already the best you could possibly be, which is why you deserve a raise. A growth mindset perspective on this example might be something as simple as, I'm really grateful for the opportunity to do something I love and I don't need to be rewarded for it. I just feel great knowing that I'm doing work that I'm good at and that I really love to do. That reaction can be hard if you don't love what you do, but if you don't love what you do, maybe you want to consider finding something you do love to do. I'm hoping these examples helped you understand how a growth mindset can be used to sort of reinterpret scenarios that might happen to you in your life. You'll see these opportunities come up very often throughout your day. There's always going to be some sort of obstacle, and you are in control of how you react to that obstacle. It can take a lot of practice to shift from that fixed mindset reaction to the growth mindset reaction, but once you start doing it, it just becomes natural, and you'll just feel so much better. If you're interested in more about the growth mindset, check out the link to the blog in the description below, or click on one of the videos on your screen. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Remember to choose growth, gratitude, joy, and good vibes. And if you like this video, why not subscribe?